Come here. Get off.
Today we're talking to Jenifer Smith, pronouns she and her. Jenifer has been providing relationship and sex advice to couples and individuals for 13 years. She has a double master's degree in marriage and family therapy and mental health counseling and is also a sex therapist. She's currently the co-host of Love, Lust, and Lies podcast, which can be found on all podcast streaming platforms. Thanks so much for joining us today, Jenifer.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
So, again, thank you. We appreciate you coming out. When I first met you, I was like, she's got to come on and turn on. So I appreciate you making
it's been like
time.
a year in the making.
I know things have been leading up to this.
Yeah, I like a good climax. That's okay.
Right? Hey. Tell us a little bit about your background and how it brought you to doing this work.
My background actually started in radio. In college, I used to host a sex talk radio show. And the show was already in existence when I got on it. And funny enough, the guy that I hosted the show with back then is the guy I host my podcast with now, 16 years later.
Oh, wow. Full circle.
Right?
Yeah. So talking about those topics of sex, love, relationships, dating is what really started to drive me and really fueled me to talk to people about relationships. And so I wrote for a sex advice column for a magazine for 4 years after graduation. And I was like, yeah, this seems more like a calling than it is a hobby now. Mm-hmm. So that's when I decided to become a therapist.
But was your major in college therapy or anything like that? Or were you like an econ major or some shit?
Communication.
Okay.
Communications was my major. PR was my concentration. If you talked to me back then, I was going to be like a hard-hitting publicist, and then that's just like not what happened.
Oh, same. That was my specialization too.
Yeah, but it's funny how you use those skills even in like a career change. So
we use them for this show. Shit.
Yeah, people ask me all the time, like, well, how did you, get to doing TV or radio or magazines? And I'm like, well, I'm as a communications major, and like PR and like media is always going to be number one for me. And so now being able to use therapy in that same platform is pretty dope to combine my worlds together.
Yeah.
That's awesome. What did you want to be when you grew up?
A publicist and a lawyer.
You're like, just give me all the coins.
Let me talk for a living and I'm set.
And now you talk about masturbation.
Now I'm talking about masturbation. The gift that keeps on giving.
Yes. Okay, so when we asked you to come on, we wanted to talk about living your best sex life. On the podcast, we read a lot of erotica, which is, most people's fantasies of what their best sex life is. So what does that mean to you? What does the best sex life mean to you?
Oh, this is a really good question. The best sex life to me is one where both partners are equally pleasured all the time. Mm-hmm. And that comes with just even conversation, in physical sense of sex or intimacy or foreplay, like in all areas that you're just like deliciously pleasured with your partner. And that's how I look at it.
I like that.
For me, because for me, I need like good conversation to even make me feel aroused to want to be intimate with you. Mm-hmm. So like for me, I need it all across the board.
Yeah.
On the other side of that coin, what things do you think tend to stand in the way of people having the best, sex life of their dreams?
Communication, I would say, is number one. Since I've been a therapist, that's probably what I've heard the most is communication. People aren't able to communicate what their needs are. And a lot of times people aren't communicating with themselves what their pleasure points are or what it takes to get them off, or like even wanting to have that conversation of what are their real insecurities about their body or about being intimate, which then prevents you from getting close to somebody else. So I would say communication for sure.
Mm-hmm. Do you see a difference in communication? Like I'm thinking about stereotypes that people have, right? That men are poor communicators. Like, do you see a difference in how communication goes in terms of like the orientations and the makeup of the partnerships? You know what I mean?
For sure. Which is funny that you say that, because I feel like men are the better communicators with what they want sexually. Women are the ones that actually lack that communication. And they usually lack communication because, one, they haven't explored their own body. Two, they are afraid to actually communicate what they want because afraid of judgment. Or they've opened up to somebody else before and that person shamed them or put them down, and now it feels like it's unsafe to share what you really want.
Yeah. You know, that's interesting. I was doing a class last night about sex and technology. And so a lot of it was porn. The first part of it was talking a lot about porn. And one of the things that she mentioned was that she finds that couples that watch porn together tend to communicate their desires better in relationships, or just people that watch porn are able to better articulate their desires. And the studies show, you know, most people underreport, but anyway, the studies show that men
how much porn they watch?
Yeah. But the studies show that men watch more porn than women. And so I think that goes hand in hand with what you just said about the fact that men are more, you know, they're able to say, I want this, because they've seen that happen in porn.
Oh, for sure. I think I agree with that 100%, Erica. I think women definitely underreport because of the judgment.
Yep.
And the shame that come. And it's funny enough, as long as I've been doing this work, most of the shame come from other women. It's not even coming from men.
Yep.
Listen, that's real. A scroll through fucking Black Twitter will show you that.
Yeah. And that's sad, because there are porn that you can watch that is, I would say, like, approachable for couples, because I don't think all porn is is applicable to everybody's sex life. But there are some good safe porn that you can watch as a couple, even if it's your first couple times watching it, where you can have a dialogue about it. And it's and people have to like actually take like the actual, sometimes like the actual intercourse out of it, and just talk about like, what is it that you see, what is it that you like out of this, like, do you like the way she responds when he does that, like like talking about how you act, what the experience is. And I think that people miss that a lot of the time. They miss what the experience is supposed to be about.
Yeah. So what things do you think people should consider when they're assessing their current sex life and where they want it to be?
That's a good question. Are you happy? Are you satisfied? Do you ever think about stepping outside of the relationship to meet your sexual needs? Those will be a few, I think, of ways to assess.
At what point do you need to be concerned? Okay, so like we all, at least I got a vivid imagination. So we heard from lots of folks who, have their fantasies and have their what if people and have all these things that go on in their head. How do you know when you cross the line between just fantasizing about something that's a little different and maybe being about to cross over that line?
I've heard it so many different ways too. I mean, because some people, that's all they think about is somebody else while they're having sex with their current partner. And I think that gets to be a very dangerous territory if it's an actual,
like a real person that's walking around on Earth.
I mean, like, listen, I dream about Michael B. Jordan sometimes when I'm having sex with my partner, but that doesn't mean he's tangible to me. But if you're dreaming, if you're dreaming about the person that you work with, the person that you work with, that's a tangible person that you could actually get it from them, then I think it's kind of dangerous territory if you're not communicating with your partner. And I think that that's also part of communication, is if you're fantasizing about different things and you don't feel like you could share that with your partner, there might be something there with that communication of that you don't feel like it's a safe space to actually share that. Because I think it's important for couples to be able to share what their desires and fantasies are, and explore them if you choose to.
Yeah.
You said earlier that, a lot of what you see is that women are having a bit of a more difficult time expressing what it is that they need to be able to live into that best sex life. I'm wondering, are there, like, can we talk a bit about what are the special considerations that come when you're talking about Black women and Black non-binary folks? What comes into play often that keeps us from being able to really seize that pleasure?
A lot of the times it comes from, and I'm going to put my therapist hat on now, it comes a lot from the way that you were brought up. If you were raised in a family where sex education wasn't something that was an open dialogue, and you learned about sex in other various forms that weren't always the safest environment, most Black women are not coming into the relationship open and ready to communicate about it if they never had that space before. And if they've brought it up before, and these are different examples that I've heard, if they have brought it up before with a previous partner, they were either shamed about it, they might have been sexually abused, and then that may have been used against them also, any information they would have shared. And within the girlfriend circles, I had plenty of women, I teach a blowjob class, and I've been teaching it for 3 years. And a lot of the Black women said that they would, during their girlfriend nights, would tell their girlfriends about, giving their man head or giving them a hand job in the movies or something like that. And they were shamed in their girlfriend circles about doing things like that. Wow. And that stopped them from wanting to communicate with anybody else about it, and even their partner about it, because now it was something shameful. They were told, oh, only white women do that. And that just creates this whole stigma of it's not safe for me to talk about it with anybody.
Damn. Yeah. They would never survive in our friend group.
Girl, I'm like, honey, I remember we were at Benihana and I was showing a dick pic. I forgot that we were like how at Benihana you're at the table with like other families. I was like, look at this. He came in slow motion. It was like, Erica, put that fucking phone down.
I mean, remember I came downstairs the other day and y'all bitches were like simulating what y'all thought I must have been doing upstairs when I wasn't with y'all. Like,
question is, were you doing it?
Yes, I was.
Yeah, she was. She was.
They were correct. Like, they know me well.
Yeah, we were down here like kicking it hard, and and she came downstairs and was like, I was like, yeah, bitch, because you would have been down here kicking it with us if you weren't upstairs doing all that nasty shit.
I mean, a time for everything.
Time for everything.
We're all the single guys. It was like, was it all the single gals? Except for one person. It was all the single gals. So you were fucking on behalf of all of us.
Like, need to be in that circle. I'm like the single one amongst my friends. So like I get a pass because I'm a sex therapist, and they just always assume I'm going to talk about some nasty shit. But I'm like, I need to be around other nasty single women that also can talk freely about this stuff.
Listen, that's
come over, kick it. Like we get it in over here. I think we did a Zoom call on Friday night. And I pulled out all my toys, and I was like showing them like different butt plugs and lubes, and this is my favorite collar, and this is my favorite whip. And someone was like, huh? And other ones were like, drop that link.
Right. It takes all kinds. Yeah. But at the end of the day, we're really big on not yucking anyone's yum, right? Oh. So if it ain't your thing, that's okay. It just ain't your thing.
That's okay. It's the dialogue, because even if you're not into it, I at least want my friends to be educated about it, because I don't know what other conversations they might be having with their other circle of friends or with their partners for that matter. I want everybody always to be informed about other things, because adults assume that sex education stops somewhere at school. And if you didn't get it,
never started at school. How about that?
I mean, right. Some people didn't get it at school. I was very fortunate, and I had a lot of great sex education very young. And I had it all throughout grade school, middle school, high school. Wow. So I was very fortunate, but I know other people weren't. And I'm like,
what state were you in? I don't want to get
I was in Pennsylvania.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And so
interesting.
And so I'm like, now as adults, it is your choice and responsibility to educate yourself about sex and about different products, different lubricants, adult stores, the different kind of porn. Like, everybody has access to that. So if you're not educating yourself about it, I think you're doing a real disservice to yourself and to your partner or future partners about different things that you could just be educated about.
Yeah. And I'd like to think of like sex and pleasure as a form of self-care.
Absolutely.
I think that we spend so much time on spas and candles and even like the boring part of self-care, like I'm gonna iron my clothes the night before. But like, no,
You be having
coming
a
is
free ass orgasm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like that's just like coming is we talked to someone and she said I masturbate every morning to get my day started.
Nice.
And I'm like, fuck yeah. Like
some people drink coffee, some people masturbate. To me,
exactly.
The serotonins come out the same way.
Exactly. And so this is, I am one of the, we talk a lot among my friend group, but I make it a point to be kind of I swing hard on this side of the pendulum where it's like, y'all gonna know all my details so that at least you're comfortable sharing a little bit more about yours or comfortable asking,
Yeah.
So yeah. So we know you're a sex therapist. How do you think sex educators and therapists can help people evolve their sex lives? Like how can they make them change it and grow?
Well, I have found that you have to make it really approachable for women. You have to, like, people always ask me, like, how do I do couples therapy? Because they just assume that every man is coming on to me. And I'm like, that's not the case.
But I never thought that would be a thing.
Yeah. I say that was not why I got into it. That was not my thought. But it was like, I always used to say, like, for couples therapy, you have to be pretty, but like approachable enough for the woman. But for the man, you have to be attractive and informative and let him know it's a safe space. And I feel like sex education and sexual health is the same way. Like we have to make it an inviting space. I think like a lot of times on social media, so many people are like showing dildos or pocket pussies or bullets or something like that. And like a man is already intimidated by that stuff. So putting it out there doesn't let them know that, oh, I could go and talk to her too and it would be okay. So I think just like showing that it's a safe space for both people or individuals is really important. As a therapist, I'm always thinking about the therapeutic relationship. And that's like the biggest part of therapy. So I'm always looking to see how people can invite people in and make it a safe space. Any of the workshops I used to do, I always let partners know, like, it's okay to bring your partner and create this dialogue or make it a date night. People like that term, you make it a date night. It makes it more commercial for them to want to come. And then they didn't have to plan one.
Yeah, I'm like niggas gonna be niggas.
They like, oh, how much is it? Okay, cool.
You gonna pay?
You gonna teach her how to do this and give us the toys? Oh, all right.
Okay, cool. So one question I have, because we just touched on the fact that you're a single gal, I'm a single gal, I'm a sex educator, and I find it difficult when dating because you get two types of guys. One is like oh, you know it all. I ain't gonna be able to do shit to impress you, which whatever. Or you get niggas like, oh, you a sex educator, so we're gonna have a threesome on our first date. Like, do you run into that?
I run into the first one all the time. All the time. Yeah. Like on my podcast, I talk about it quite a bit. Like I met guys that like I would date for like 4 or 5 months that were too scared to have sex.
Oh.
Yeah. They were like too scared to have sex or like judge me because I taught a blowjob class. One guy said to me, he was like, I just can't get over thinking about how much dick you might have had to suck to teach that class.
God, go away.
I'm sorry.
And guess what? I'm not sucking your dick because that was stupid.
Right. I'm like, as women, we are never thinking about how much pussy you had to eat to get over here. Like we are just happy if it's like, good. I'm appreciative of all the practice you did.
I'm like, thank them chicks. Oh my gosh. Yeah,
or you get the survey. After you've had sex, then they like, okay, so here come the question. Was it good enough? What do you want me to do next time? Like, like, did I get the G spot? I'm like,
and that's the thing. I appreciate you asking to improve our experience, but don't ask to try to like beat like you're a fucking like my
like beat the high score.
Yeah, like my pussy is one of them the arcade machines and you trying to get your initials on the shit. Like, no, nigga, no.
I don't want you to ask me 15 seconds after I've come. I don't want you to ask me this. Like, we still laying there and I'm trying to catch my breath.
Let me glow. Like, let me enjoy the glow.
Ask me tomorrow. Like, let's have a recap tomorrow. But like, I don't always like having a debrief all the time. I'm like,
it makes it like work for you, does. Right?
Definitely. I'm like, come in here and shut my ass up. That's all.
Knock the dust out this pussy and
right. No, that is so real, Erica. Like, I thought like getting into this field, like I'm like, oh, like I might, I knew people would come at me or whatever, but like this shit here of like niggas not wanting to talk to you because of what you do, or they intimidate or judge you. I'm like, wow, this has turned into a con. I don't know what to do with all of this.
I found some guys are just really skeevy. Like, because I try to, like, when you meet guys on the apps, it's a balance. Like, you want to be, you want to like tell them who you are in full. Right. Because I'm also like, I run into niggas and they're like super churchy. And I'm like, look, I'm a sex educator. I talk about getting my back blown out once a week on the internet for the world to know it. I have friends that are gay, trans, non-binary. Like so I need you to understand that you ain't getting just some teacher that's going, like some basic shit.
Right.
But I'm telling you that because I need you to understand I don't need your judgment. This is who I am in full. Not I'm telling you that to be like, hey, I'm gonna shoot hot dogs out my pussy. I'm sorry. I just finished reading Humans in New York, and that chick Stephanie Tangeray was talking about this stripper that shot hot dogs out her pussy.
That's kind of like in Thailand where they do like the darts out of their pussy and like can like actually like bust balloons and shit.
Oh shit, that's impressive.
Yeah, I was like, wow, we got those kind of powers. I'm looking down at my own vagina like,
I'm like, shit.
Can we train? Is this something I can learn?
Is there a camp I can attend, a workshop? I need to know. I was like, damn. Yeah, no, it's real out here. The apps are quite interesting. I have a 3-date rule that I put in place like about a year ago. Like, I don't give guys my social media until after we've been out on 3 dates.
Oh yeah, no.
Because they get like all types of excited and shit. And but that shit would backfire on me because podcasts are very popular and shit. So people are like, yeah, so I heard you on this podcast, and I'm like, oh,
well,
I was going to tell you when we got to the 3rd date.
And anybody, anything. So there's that.
Exactly.
No, you tell them that ain't your man, that ain't your partner. You let them know when you're ready.
Totally.
I want to back up a little bit to something you said earlier. You were saying that you have to be pretty enough, but not too pretty. You have to be approachable. Why is that?
For women, they respect other women if you like they're pretty, which is so super weird. But that's like what I learned like in maybe the first year I was a therapist. Like when I would watch different couples come into the practice and like who they would choose to be their therapist. You know what I mean? Like I was like, okay, like I feel like I can say like, well, this woman's pretty and attractive or whatever. But like it was something about like how they looked at the pictures of who they chose. Like, I like her. She's pretty, but I don't think she'll steal my man. So I think I'll go with her. Like,
shit.
But I got that though a couple of times. Like if they didn't look at the website beforehand and I was just assigned the couple or whatever. And they came in, I had this one couple, they were a Haitian couple and came in and the wife took one look at me and said, definitely no.
Damn.
She was like, I want somebody else. And I was like, well, I am the couples therapist here. So it's me or nobody. And she was like, well, I want to talk to your supervisor, which at that time I felt super like intimidated by. And so my supervisor had to come out and she was like, Jenifer is the best that we have. I feel 100% confident in her capabilities to help you and your husband. The husband turns around and said, I'll talk to her. He walked in the room and sat down. And she was just like,
oh,
we'll see. Yeah, she was like, we'll see how this session goes. And we ended up having like a great session until like the last 5 minutes. We were talking and they were sitting next to each other and she said something that set him off. And then he was like, I'm not talking to you anymore. I only want to talk to Jenifer. And she was like, session is over. That's it.
Wow.
She got up and walked out and he was just sitting there still talking to me. And I'm thinking, how am I supposed to wrap this up now? I don't. But people will challenge you a lot when it's a couple because the women want to talk to other women that is attractive but informative and like also feel like it's a safe space. And sometimes if they get a therapist that's too close to their mother's age, they don't want to talk to somebody that's going to talk to them like their mom. They want somebody that's a little closer to their age where they feel it's approachable and like almost up to date too on like other things. Like if they talk about porn or a specific porn, I might know about it. Or like if they talk about a strip club that they went to, like I'll know about it. Like, so those kind of ways they feel like it's more relatable.
Wow. What's your favorite thing about what you do?
It's never the same topic every day. It's always something different. And I like that. And I like that I can create a space for people to come and talk about their most intimate things and not feel scared to do so.
Right.
I've heard some real horror stories from clients of therapists that they went to that made them feel bad about things that they shared or shamed them about certain things. And I'm glad that I can create that space for my clients and they don't have to worry about that with me.
Yeah. It's, I finding a therapist that gets you is just fucking amazing. Like my therapist, I think I made like a rant. I talk in movie lines and movie quotes and shit. And so I like reference like, don't be a menace to South Central while drinking juice in the hood or some shit. And she got it. And I was just like, you know what? This is why the fuck I'm seeing your black ass. Cause I want somebody to get,
Also the draggings.
Oh yeah, y'all.
She dragged the fuck out of us.
Dragging the fuck out. Yeah, I'd be like, look, bitch, I just got my hair back. Like, you do not have to come for my edges so fucking quickly. So, what do you wish more Black people knew about sex and sexuality?
Oh Lord, so much.
That was real weird.
So much. What do I want them to know most? That they are not like they're not their past. Like they're like that you are. I have so many of my Black clients that I've had that had family trauma or like generational trauma or sexual trauma. They feel like that is their identity now, their sexual identity. And I want them to know that healing is something that can just transform your life all across the board and that they don't always have to carry all that weight with them all the time.
Wow. What books would you recommend for folks who want to either explore their own sexuality or get deeper into what you were just talking about, right? About how to not be defined by their trauma, but by their past as it relates to their sexual selves?
One that I always recommend is Body Keeps the Score. Which they have some really good workshops now for that book where I really recommend anybody that's had sexual trauma. I think it's a good read for them, but it also breaks down all the other ways that you with your sexuality specifically of how that can affect your sex life in so many other ways, even the most intimate relationship with yourself. I'm trying to think any books I've read more recently about generational trauma. None come to mind right now. I'm trying to think of some other ones, even about therapy. Yeah, I'm drawing a blank right now. I'm like, books.
Girl,
I'm studying for my licensing exam, so the DSM is the only book on my mind right now.
Well, if you come up with anything else, let us know and we'll add it in the show notes or not, and it's fine because our Body Keeps a Score is great.
Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely. I was gonna ask what you're reading right now, but you
The
just told us.
DSM.
Yeah,
The DSM, that's what I'm reading.
just a little light work.
Yeah, it's hard because I was in school when the DSM-4, when we switched from the DSM-4 to the
To
DSM-5.
Yeah.
So I'm rehearsed in both, but the exam is on 5. So it's like
a
you have
lot.
to push out all that information that you knew previous and just focus on what they have now. So it's a little difficult.
Yeah. Good luck.
Thank
Good
you.
luck.
Thank you.
Okay, so we like to have a little fun before we wrap up. So I want you to finish the sentence.
Oh boy. Okay.
Okay, the first one. 2020 is
Shit show.
Accurate.
accurate. Okay.
It's like retrograde all fucking year.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. I feel best when.
I'm naked.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yo, my partner we were just talking about, he was like, so have you always just walked around naked? He was like, do you do this when I'm not here? Yes,
Yep.
nigga, it's my house.
Yeah.
Yes, I do. I was like, this is how I prefer to be.
Yeah.
Yep. When my child is gone with my ex girl, my brother lives with me. But he pretty much stays in his space, which is the basement. He literally knocks on the basement door, like, put on a shirt. I'm like,
And I came out.
exactly. So yeah, clothes are some bullshit. Okay, my perfect day begins with.
Ooh. Praise and worship.
Yes. Okay, and last, my pettiest turn off is.
Ooh. Pettiest? I don't know. If he has a broke down car.
Ain't nothing wrong with it.
That will turn me off quick. Like I'm like, I don't care if it was a great date. I'd be like, so it was really good to know you, but this not gonna work out for me.
You and this Sentra is this 87 Sentra ain't popping. Okay, Kenrya, I saw you thinking, what's your pettiest turn off?
I don't know. I'm like sitting here trying to figure out. Oh, I don't know.
Oh, I have a whole fucking list.
Let's hear a couple. I want to hear it.
So one I'm not gonna say publicly. I'll say it after this because we might cut some people off. Another one, fucking braided hair, like braids.
Cornrows.
Like if you're a grown ass nigga with some fucking cornrows, I'm like, nigga, like, come on now.
Right.
Like you doing too much. Dirty fingernails, of course.
Oh yeah, that's a big one for you.
Busted shoes.
Yes, that's a big one for me too.
And they don't even have to be like they don't have to be like the name brands or whatever, just like
well taken care of.
Yeah,
but if they look like they are so old, like you've had these since college, like let them go.
When the heel run over and stuff, nope, not at all. Nope, not at all. Because little things like if you can't take care of like the little things,
you can't be cleaning your dick. You
ain't
can't possibly.
I was like, you got a cheesy dick. You ain't if you can't get the details, you ain't scooping under them balls and cleaning up under there. And I'm nasty. I want my face and everything. But I need to make sure, I need to be confident you're cleaning your crevasses.
Right. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, so they may sound petty, but it actually leads up to something else. If you're a grown ass man walking around with cornrows and shit, I mean, maybe with like the little individual braids, I might give you a chance. But if you're a grown ass man walking around with some Allen Iverson murder, bruh, like you make poor decisions. And so,
yes. Face tattoos. Yes. Face tattoos for me too.
Yeah. Okay, I can add that can be on my list. I'm not a fan.
However, because I'm a bird, I do like a neck.
You like a neck tattoo?
I'm such a bird.
For me, the face tattoo is just like, so either you're independently wealthy or you just don't give a fuck no more.
You like literally was like, you know what? Fuck this. Fuck this.
And that's fine, but we probably not a good match. And that's okay. I'm sure there's
Okay.
somebody that is there for you.
Right.
It's just not me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That'll be on
Okay.
my list. That's cool. So thank you so much for joining us. Can you tell the people where they can find you online?
Yes, thank you both for having me. I appreciate it. I could have talked to y'all all day. I feel like
Yay.
we talk nasty all day.
We can.
But you can find me on Instagram at Sex Therapist Jen, all one word, or you can listen to my podcast also at Love, Lust, and Lies podcast. We're on all podcast platforms, or you can follow our IG at Love, Lust, and Lies podcast.
Great.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing that. And thank you for coming on. And thank you all for listening. That's it for this week's episode of The Turn On. We will be back soon. Thanks for listening.
This episode was produced by us, Erica and Kenrya, and edited by Ballistic. The theme music is from Brazy. Now you can support The Turn On and get off. Subscribe to the show on your favorite podcast app. Then drop us a 5-star review and you'll be entered to win something that's turning us on. Post your review and email a screenshot to us at theturnonpodcast@gmail.com to enter. Our Patreon page is also live. Become a supporter today and access lots of goodies, including 2-for-1 raffle entries. Don't forget to send us your book recommendations and sex and related questions. And follow us on Twitter at The Turn On Pod and Instagram at The Turn On Podcast. You can find links to books, merch, transcripts, guest info, and other fun stuff at theturnonpodcast.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you soon. Holla!